So I've been following this trial from the very beginning. In fact, I've streamed every single minute of every single day, and I've seen every single interaction between Johnny Depp and Camille Vasquez. And it always had me wondering, the way that they're behaving, was that a particular ploy to get under the skin of Amber Heard? And there's been a lot of talk about, is it romance or is it a plan? And I think it was a plan. And it was a plan that was perfectly executed yesterday. Now, don't get me wrong, I do believe that there's some chemistry there. I do think that the whole team and Johnny Depp will still be friends in another 20 or 30 years' time. But as for a romance, I don't know. It's one I just don't know. I don't see it 100% myself. I think this was more of a ploy. And as I say, it all paid off yesterday. Now, Amber Heard has had her own way for the past 6 years. She's been able to say what she wants, when she wants, in the tone that she wants, at the speed that she wants. Even under the first cross-examen from Camille Vasquez, she was able to speak. This time, Camille took that away from her. In fact, it's a little bit like fly fishing. She cast out the bait and she made a statement. And in response, Amber got no more than 2 or 3 seconds in before Camille started again and overtalked her and carried on to the next question. And this was repeated time and time again. Now, this threw Amber Heard off completely. She was not expecting that at all. She's used to being able to tell the story in her own little dream world. This time, it wasn't being allowed to happen. Now, how did that affect Amber? Well, you see, she'd probably been predicting in her head that she was able to speak for another 30 or 40 seconds. And every time that she was cut off, all of those preconceived ideas and preconceived responses that she'd made up in her mind suddenly weren't being able to be heard by anybody. So she had to change her tactics. She had to try and speak as much as she could within the first 2 or 3 seconds, because as far as she was aware, that would be the only amount of time that she was going to get to speak. And by doing so, it put her on the offensive. Instead of being on the defensive, she had to change tack and she was then on the offensive. And it all played out at the very end when they were talking about powerful men and powerful people and Johnny's influence over people. It all came out then. Because at that point, Amber Heard was so riled up, she was so on the offensive, that she made the biggest error of this entire trial. Not only did she cement in everybody's mind that this entire article, this op-ed, was about Johnny Depp. She did write it about him, but it also showed the malice with why she did it. That's an important point, because in defamation, it's not just whether the statement was wrong, it's whether or not there was malice attached to it. And when you hear how she said this, you can definitely attribute the malice to it. It was a perfect ploy. It was something that had been in the works probably for months. I would imagine that Dr. Shannon Curry had a part in that to explain how they were going to be able to break things down with Amber and what they needed to do. And that's why for the past 7 weeks, we have seen Camille stroking, hugging, cajoling, laughing, smiling, flirting with Johnny. It was all a ploy to unsettle Amber Heard, and it paid off spectacularly yesterday. Johnny Depp got everything that he needed from that final cross-examination. It was a terrible mistake by Amber Heard. It ended up with her losing the anti-slap protection that she could have claimed. She could have had that put to the jury. The judge dismissed that when talking about jury instructions yesterday, so she doesn't have that now. It's never going to come back. She had this one opportunity to sit there and compose herself for the rest of the day. She only had a few more minutes to go. She let it slip. She erupted. It was a perfectly executed plan by Camille, and Amber fell right into it. Let's listen to a little bit.
I know how many people will come out and say whatever for him. That's his power. That's why I wrote the op-ed. is I was speaking to that phenomenon. How many people will come out in support of him and will fall to his power? He is a very powerful man, and people love currying favor with powerful men.
Curry favor and commit perjury in this courtroom?
I have seen people do this.
Man?
I have seen people do this time and time again. That's why I wrote the op-ed.
And there you go. I believe this particular moment is going to be huge. This particular moment is definitely going to be a massive plus for Johnny Depp in his attempt to win this case. And I think this is the one moment that if Amber Heard could take anything back, it would be this moment right there. Right. I'll see you all soon. Take care.